Once again, very good morning to everyone. I think this screen would be visible to every participants. We have to explain. We have to explain from this page. This is third page of the chapter, The Last Child. As they neared the village, the child could see many other footpaths full of throngs covering, conversing to the whirlpool of the fair. The child, as we discussed in the first part of this video, that a child went in the fair along with his parent, and he begged or he required for ice cream near the coal shop, but he was refused. Okay, his parent refused to provide him ice cream. Thereafter, he was waiting there. Uh, the moment he was staying, his parent began to move from there and went a few steps away. Then they called for their child, and he went in a running way to them and required for the toys and sweets that was there arranged by the shopkeepers alongside the lane. But this time he was again refused by his parents, and his mom, being a soft hearted or kind hearted lady for every children, she tried to divert her child's mood by indicating towards the mustard field, and the child began to look at the bees and dragonflies which were flying around the mustard seed to squeeze the juices and sweetness of the flowers. Thereafter, they began to move next, and finally they went near a well. While the child was trying to gaze at the bees until he could look them, uh, and his parent were sitting on the edge of a well and called for the child, "Come, child, come here." Now, the child came by watching so many birds and a dove. He cried, and he saw a dove, means pigeon, and began to shout by watching the bird, and went near the footpath, began to began to follow the pigeon, and he was not paying attention on his parent that they were calling him. वो उसको बुला रहे थे, इसका ध्यान उस बच्चे को नहीं था. What happened? Let us know in this episode of this chapter. Now, as they neared the village, the child could see many other footpaths. As the time after time they were being nearer to the village, the child could see many other footpaths. His attention was anywhere else, not at his parent, full of throngs conversing to the whirlpool of the fair, and felt at once repelled and fascinated by the confusion of the world he was entering. And the child was unknown to the route to the world where he was entering. Wherever he was going, he was completely unknown to the place. वो जगह के बारे में बिल्कुल अनजान था, confusion था. He was fascinated. Okay, I mean, उसको इस चीज़ के बारे में नहीं पता था, उसको डर था कि वो कहाँ जा रहा है, लेकिन जिस वर्ल्ड में, जिस जगह पे वो जा रहा था, उस जगह से वो बिल्कुल अनजान था. Obviously, young ones or little children do not pay attention where they stay. They are not aware of what is about to happen in their life. They only do activities. They do not think wrong and right about that activities, whatever they do, because they do not have the logical sense or reasonable sense to understand each and everything. What happens next? Let us know going to the next paragraph. A sweet meat seller hugged gulab jamun. Okay, a sweet meat, mithai wala. Seller hugged, he cried for gulab jamun, rasgulla, barfi, jalebi. You know, these all are the sweets name. And sweet meat means हलवाई. हलवाई आप लोग जानते होंगे. ओके, मैंने जलेबी बना दिया हलवाई की जगह. लेट अस इरेज sweet meat. Okay, now gulab jamun, rasgulla, barfi, jalebi. Wow, what are nice delicious dishes and sweets. बहुत ही tasty sweets हैं ये. At the other corner of the entrance, a crowd passed around his counter at the foot and an architect many colored sweets. And when he passed another corner, I mean there was a counter located on that corner at the foot of an architecture of many colored sweets. और बहुत सारी वहाँ पे colored sweets थी, decorated with leaves and silver and gold. Okay, and these all sweets were decorated of silver, you know, leaves of silver and gold. These all were, you know, artificial. And the child stared open eyed and his mouth watered of the burfi that was his favorite sweet. And the child, he was tempted towards the burfi. बर्फ़ी स्वीट जो थी बच्चे को लुभा रही थी, क्योंकि बच्चा बहुत पसंद करता था बर्फ़ी. It has been given that it is his favorite sweet. Okay, out of his favorite sweet, the burfi was. I want that burfi. He slowly murmured. बहुत ही स्लो वॉइस में, बहुत ही धीरे से बच्चा बोलता है कि मुझे बर्फ़ी चाहिए. But the half knew as he begged that his plea would not be heeded because his parents would say he was greedy. लेकिन उसको इस चीज़ के बारे में भी पता था कि अगर वो मांगता है, ठीक है, जैसा कि वो मांगता है तो उसको नहीं मिलेगा, क्योंकि उसके पेरेंट्स उसको लालची कहेंगे. सो विदाउट वेटिंग फॉर एन आंसर, उसने बिना एक आंसर का इंतज़ार किए, ही मूव्ड ऑन, वो वहाँ से चला गया. A flower seller hogged. What happened next? A flower seller, एक फूल बेचने वाला, hogged, चिल्लाया, a garland of gulmohar, a garland of gulmohar. अब ये gulmohar, it is a kind of flower, okay, and he was selling, I mean shopkeeper was, flower seller was selling garlands, means मालाएं. The child seemed irresistibly drawn, और जो बच्चा था वो अपने आप को बिल्कुल उसके तरफ आकर्षित महसूस कर रहा था. He went towards the basket where the flowers lay heaped and half murmured. वो उस माला के स्टॉल के तरफ चला गया, उस बास्केट के तरफ चला गया जहाँ पे वो ढेर पड़ा हुआ था. एंड मरमर्ड, वो धीरे से बोलता है, I want that garland, मुझे ये गार्डन चाहिए. But he well knew that his parent would refuse to buy him those flowers because they would say that they were cheap. लेकिन वो जानता था, he was known about his parental reply and decision. They would be saying that it is cheap, okay, and they would not provide it to the child. वो बच्चे को नहीं प्रोवाइड करेंगे, ये वो अच्छी तरह से जानता था. तो ये बहुत ही अजीब सी बात है इस बच्चे के लिए. बच्चा काफ़ी दुखी है, बच्चा काफ़ी टूटा हुआ है अंदर से. His heart is broken for his parent because they do not provide him what he desires. जो भी वो चाहता है, जो उसकी इच्छा है, वो पेरेंट उसको नहीं प्रोवाइड करते हैं, इसलिए वो बच्चा काफ़ी दुखी है. सो विदाउट वेटिंग फॉर आंसर ही मूव्ड ऑन. इसलिए बिना कुछ सुने या फिर बिना रिप्लाई वो वहाँ से चल दिया. A man stood holding a pole with yellow, red, green and purple balloons flying from it. Now there was a man, he was having balloons, जिसके पास बहुत सारे balloons थे, you know, multicolored balloons, बहुत अलग अलग तरह के जो है balloons थे उसके पास, उड़ रहे थे. The child was simply carried away by the rainbow glory of their silken colors and he was filled with an overwhelming desire to possess them all. बच्चा, छोटा सा बच्चा, वो वहाँ से गुजर रहा था. Rainbow glory of their silken colors. And he was tempted, the child was tempted or attracted towards the rainbow glory of colors, silken colors of the balloons. जो अलग अलग तरह के 8-10 रंग के जो कलर्स दिखाई दे रहे थे, रेनबो का मतलब सतरंगी, ठीक है, तो उसके तरफ काफ़ी आकर्षित होता है और बच्चे को डिज़ायर होती है कि काश वो फूल जो है मेरे होते. जाहिर सी बात है, छोटे बच्चे, they like to have so many toys. They do not know about the value of money. वो वैल्यू को नहीं समझते मनी को, कि आई मीन पैसा कितना खर्च होगा. इफ़ वी वुड लेट इट फॉर दैम, अगर वो उन पे छोड़ दिया जाए, दे वुड परचेज द होल और द इंटायर टॉयज़ इन द फेयर. वो सारे फेयर के टॉयज़ को ही खरीद डालेंगे. तो बच्चा जो भी देख रहा है, कभी गुब्बारा देख रहा है, कभी मिठाइयाँ देख रहा है, कभी बर्फ़ी देख के ललायित हो रहा है, कभी फ्लावर्स देख के, तो उसको देखने के बाद थोड़ा सा आकर्षण हो रहा है, तो उसको लग रहा है कि ये मुझे चाहिए, और वो धीरे से बोल भी रहा है, लेकिन बेचारा आगे बढ़ जा रहा है, क्योंकि वो जानता है कि उसके मम्मी पापा उसको प्रोवाइड नहीं करने वाले. अब क्या हुआ? बट ही वेल knew his parents would never buy him and balloons because they would say he was too old to play with such toys. लेकिन वो बच्चा जानता है कि उसके पापा मम्मी वो भी उसको दिलाने वाले नहीं हैं, क्योंकि वो कहेंगे दैट यू आर टू ओल्ड, आई मीन तुम इतने बड़े हो गए हो कि गुब्बारे से नहीं खेल सकते. आई मीन